Okay, in this tutorial we're going to show you how to make a baby bump cake. And what I've done on this piece of paper here is I've just outlined where my bum's going to be, and obviously the legs. So what I'm going to do is go and get my Rice Krispies, which I've melted on the stove with some marshmallows, and then all we're going to do is simply build up our circles. You can see it's pretty sticky. So we're going to keep building and mounding it up. This really needs to be cooled. It won't be as sticky, but for the purposes of this video it doesn't particularly matter too much. So we're just going to build our baby bump. So we've got like a bum. Like so. And as you can see, it's starting to take a bum-like shape, or a bump-like shape, I should say. If you do leave this to cool, it won't be as sticky. It is cold, but you can put it in a grease-proof container overnight, and then you'll find that it won't be as sticky as this. Okay, so I think that's fine for our bum. Next, I'm going to do our baby legs. And again, it's pretty the same way. So we just put them in like so. So then when they're done, they will actually sit on the cake like that, and then we'll have feet. In fact, I think I'll leave the legs for now. I'll show you that once this is all done and iced. I'll just clean myself now. So now taking our royal icing, all we're going to do is just run it over, and basically all this is going to do is give a coat. So when we put the actual icing on, it's not going to show any of the indentations out. Now mine is a little bit runny, in fact probably a bit too runny. So what I will do is I will coat this, then put it in the fridge to harden up, and then I'll recoat it again. So all we're doing is rolling this over. So it's just basically a bit of a protection when the icing goes on it, or fondant goes on it. It just doesn't show all the lumps and bumps through the fondant. Like I said, my icing is a little runny, so it shouldn't look as runny as this. it shouldn't run as much. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pop it in the fridge for a little while, and then I'll come back and recoat it again, and then we'll put the fondant over, put it onto the cake, and then I'll show you how to do the legs as well. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do the feet of our baby bump, and with the same principles as our dome that we had, we are going to make our legs. So I've made some more Rice Krispies, and all I'm going to do is take our Rice Krispies and just shape them to the legs. And this is a great way to save on cake as well. So it's not all cake, and it saves costs as well. So as you can see, I'm just pressing it and packing it in, trying to get the desired shape that we want. Again, obviously because there's 2 legs, taking some more of our Rice Krispie squares and just moulding it to the desired shape that we need. Packing in and around. So we get our legs. Like so, and then I'm going to put that to the side, and then what I'm going to do is I've got some icing, royal icing, and then just taking our royal icing, we're just going to lay it onto our Rice Krispies. This stops the Rice Krispies coming through on our coming through the fondant. So again, I'm just adding this. You don't need a lot. You can make your own royal icing, it's easy enough. And as you can see, we're just spreading it all around. Our legs, and then we'll do, so as you can see here, and then we'll do the same on the other side. Apologise if you can hear that, that's my phone in the other room. So we'll just keep creating the layer. making sure it's all covered. Like so. And then we'll pop that in the fridge to set, and the next stage will be icing the cake and icing our bum and legs. Okay, as you can see, I've now taken our bum out of the fridge, and as you can see, it's got a good coating on it, so none of the Rice Krispies is going to show. So just put that to one side for now. I'm just going to take my fondant, and we're just going to use white fondant for this. So what I'm going to do then is just give this a quick knead. And then we're going to roll it out and lay it onto our bum. Quick dusting of corn flour. And we're just going to roll this out now. Trying to keep it rounded, but sometimes the fondant will do its own thing. Okay, now we take our because I don't want all the excess thing at the bottom, so I'm just going to trim it, and as you can see it's still a bit wet, so that will be perfect. I'm going to take it off the greaseproof paper, and I'm going to get rid of that. Just quickly wipe my hands, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get our icing, lay it over the top. Now it doesn't. Don't worry if it is a little bit bumpy. It's supposed to be a nappy, and we are going to put another layer of icing over it once the feet are on. But for now, all I'm doing is rubbing in, just to make it smooth. And you can actually see that there's not a very great deal of amount of bumps or lumps from the Rice Krispies. So I'm going to take my knife now, and I'm just going to trim round the excess. I think we can take slightly more off on places. So like so. Put that to one side. Now I'm going to bring my cake over, like so. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift this up, and as you can see it comes off very easily, and I'm just going to tuck the excess piece of fondant around the bottom. Like so. And then all we're going to do is place our bump on one side, like so. Take this out of the way. So we now have our bump on our cake, and the next step is to make up the legs, put them on with some fondant icing, which would be flesh coloured. So I'll get that out and I'll show you the next stage. Okay, so we're doing the legs now, and as you can see I've rolled out some flesh coloured fondant, and all I'm going to do is simply place this over our legs, sorry, rub it in, rub it down. Take our knife, trim off the excess that we don't need. Put that to one side. Lift up, tucking in again underneath, like so. And then what we're going to do is because this is a dummy cake, I moved it from an 8" to a 10" because the 8" was a little bit too small. Just going to lay our baby feet or legs like that to the side. And like I said, don't worry, we're going to cover this top bit here and this bit here with another layer of icing. This is just basically to teach you how to do it. So again, we're just going to roll this bit of fondant up. And then we're going to roll it out again. Try to use all the bits of fondant you have, so you don't waste anything, because then it does get very expensive. Because fondant nowadays isn't very cheap. Again, we're going to pop it on our rolling pin, get our ball and lay it over the top, and then just rub it in. Take off the extra that we don't want. Pick it up and then just pop our extra bits underneath. And then again, we're just going to place this on the side, like so. So you can see we have the starts. If I move this all out of the way, of our bum and legs, baby legs. Okay, so the next stage is I will show you how to make the feet and the toes next.
Okay, so we now got the feet covered and we've made some toes, and all we do with that is just make some little balls of fondant, and then we can shape them into toe-like shapes, and sort of slowly decrease the size a little bit. So we picked the biggest one to be the big toe, obviously. Shape that just slightly flattened, like so, and just round the end off a little bit, and then you can position that on the cake. And once you've got them all in place, in a moment we can stick those down with water. Just get them roughly how we want them to begin with. Like so. And what you can see here we've done with the feet is we've just used our finger. Once the fondant's on, you can shape them a little bit better. So you just use your finger to shape the feet and remove any slight imperfections that there might be, and get the indentation on the instep of the foot, for example. And to get a crease, you just push in with your finger like so, and then you get a nice crease there in the middle to give you your feet. So the next step is we're going to roll out another piece of white fondant, and we're going to drape this over the top. This is going to be a completely circle bit of fondant, and we're going to create a nappy effect on the inner bits of the leg here, which you'll see in a moment. But to start with, we'll drape the clothes over the top, if you like. So we'll do that now. So we've got our white piece of fondant rolled out, and we're now using for this cake. The actual dummy cake is a 12-inch fake cake, and so for that, what we're going to do is cut round a 10-inch circle, because it's going to be sitting up quite a lot over this bit of the cake, so we're going to lose some of the size here when we lay it on top. So we can now pick that up in a moment and lay that on top, and we're just going to position it back a little bit, and make sure we cover over, and perhaps even, so we're just going to position this on the cake a little bit and position it back a little bit, just so we've got a bit more of the nappy showing, like so. And then that's as simple as that. So it's just a circle of fondant, perhaps 2 inches smaller than your actual cake size. And you'll notice that it is actually overlapping the back a little bit, but that doesn't matter too much. Just make sure you account for that in your cake box, which is normally what you do. Here we've just got a fake cake, so the actual cake ball is the same size as the cake, but normally you'd have it an inch either side. So we'd have a 14-inch cake ball normally here for a 12-inch cake, but here we're just showing you as an example using a fake cake. Okay, so the next bit here is we can put some little ruffles down the inside. So we take a piece of our white fondant, and we just level these off. Just try and get a rough straight edge. Doesn't need to be very thick at all. And again, it doesn't need to be very long. So out of this one piece, we'll probably end up getting maybe 2 pieces. We'll see how we get along. And to create a ruffle, you just create a concertina effect just by pushing the fondant together, like so. And we'll probably just take this down the inside here, so starting from the bottom and working our way up a little bit, like so. And we can probably just cut off just underneath on the inside there. What we'll do here is we're just going to lift this piece of fondant and we're going to lay the concertina effect underneath. Just flatten that out where it's going to be covered, and we can lower that down, and that creates a nice edge to our nappy. Once you've got these in place, and one on the other side as well, you can stick them down with water. So as you can see here, we've got our baby bum and our legs with our Rice Krispies and marshmallows covered in royal icing. We've shaped, once they've been covered, a little bit more with fondant. So we cover them with fondant and then shape them a little bit more, just using our finger to create the shape that we're after. And the final bit for this cake, or one of the final bits, will be to add some spots to it, which Danielle is going to show you in a moment. We'll make some spots up using fondant, different colour fondant. Add that round the cake and you'll see how it all comes together. And obviously if you wanted to, you could add a ribbon around the bottom as well. Okay, so Danielle's cut out some little round fondant pieces now, and they're just going to be applied to the cake using water, just in a random sort of way. Obviously you can pick the colours you want, so if you want a boy theme you can pick colours you want, or you can mix it up a little bit with different pastel colours, for example. And you just continue putting those on and add those around the cake as well. For this example, what we're going to do here is just going to add them onto the cake just to show you, and then at the end of this I'll show you what the final cake will look like from our real cake that we made. But as you can see, it's looking pretty effective. And then we can just add some around the cake to just finish the design off. So Danielle's not just using any fixed pattern here, just putting them on randomly, just in any spaces that she can find. And normally you do that around the outside of the cake as well, but for the purpose of what we're doing here, we're just put a few on. So as you can see, that stage doesn't take too long, and I'll show you the actual cake now.